Learn about how we can help you make a plan for your future. That's 312-951-2606.
The name of my business is Mrs. Indecent Exposure. We are an intimate aromatherapy, massage, bath, and body shop. We have the best aromatherapy, bath, and skincare products available. You can find us in Chicago and on the World Wide Web. We're located at 6916 West North Avenue in Chicago, 3 blocks east of Harlem Avenue. 773-417-3223. Mrs. Indecent Exposure, MRSNDEXPO.com.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on 820 AM WCPT Willow Springs, is powered by ComEd. Explore your solar options at ComEd.com/solar.
The following program, The Family Meeting, is sponsored by Polaris Insurance Agency and Eric Grant, and to the extent of their guest.
Itsashort.com. The website is itsashort.com, spelled ITSASHORT.com. We are the best designation on the internet for award-winning short film, video, and web series. Artists are from all over the world. They are award-winning from various festivals, but you can find us at info@itsashort.com, customer care at itsashort.com, and we'll get back to you straight away.
Are you looking for the best residential and commercial laundry service in the Chicagoland area? Then you want PleaseDoMyLaundry.com. That's PleaseDoMyLaundry.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Hinton, assistant principal from Paul Revere. Go Raiders, and I listen to the Family Meeting.
Hey, this is Oliver Gibson, and I listen to the Family Meeting.
Close your screen door, y'all. Close that screen door. It's Family Meeting time. Grab a seat, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere, man.
Get over there, sit down.
That's right, man. I'm your boy E. Hey, man, visit our webpage, tfmradioshow.com. tfmradioshow.com. Make sure you share your email address. They're in the middle of the family. Sorry, y'all. We're scrambling a little bit here because Tress is not here, and we're trying to clean up.
Rich has got to clean up first.
Got to tidy up a little bit around here so we make sure we don't get that thing. You know what I mean? Hey, so you go to the webpage, tfmradioshow.com. You'll find the archived broadcasts. And, by the way, our new and improved music playlist.
Sweet.
Yes, I changed it around a little bit, y'all.
Gotta check it out, y'all.
That's right, new and improved. So you could actually hit our playlist, and not only can you listen to it all day at work, you can listen to it all week at work. It's like that, y'all.
That thing.
You want to get down like that. But most importantly, on that same page, you can find this broadcast going on right there, right now. That's tfmradioshow.com. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over those. And that's where the conversation goes on when we're not here, so check that out. Devin and Paul are here. Paul got the thing.
Yeah.
But he might not have the thing anymore.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah, but
do we trust him? Yeah, we trust him.
Yeah, we trust him. Yeah. Thanks, Paul. And Devin, for the work you do. And Tress is on the lam today. She'll be back. Promise you, she'll be back. That voice you hear is the Black Asian dude, Richard Chu. What's up, partner?
E-Magic.
That's right, man. Oh, I like that name. I'll
That's
take
right.
that one. I'll take that one.
You got that one.
Thank you.
I'll make sure you get that one.
Thank you. The Family Meeting is sponsored by Identity Guard. Take the time to protect your ID for as little as $6 per month. By the way, that's free, new and updated as well. Check that out.
We're getting all fancy up in here.
That's right, man. Lookaftermyid.com is where you go. Lookaftermyid.com. Also, be sure to hit our page. We have a page that we're participating where the Dems aren't. It's reregistertovote.com. Reregistertovote.com. Go there. If you
get your stuff right,
just register again
and check again. Check every week.
Right. Well, just register again.
Right.
Just register again. Right. Because by now they will have purged you from the voter rolls. All you got to do is re-register. Right there online, you can do it. Go to reregistertovote.com, find your state, and re-register. It doesn't matter if you think you're registered or not. Just re-register.
Yep.
At reregister to vote. Right? Did I get that across?
I hope so.
I'll say it again for you later. Right? And you should know that the lines fill quickly. The number is 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. Hey, man, listen. So I was conducting another one of my famous experiments this week.
When did you turn into a scientist and all that kind of stuff, man? That's the nerdy stuff you left for me to handle.
It's this idle time thing, man.
Yeah, you did say that.
It's something that I got to do.
See, I don't understand. Eric, I'll say to Eric, so listen, let's sit down and have a little meeting about blah, blah, blah. He's like, Rich, man, I don't want to have any doggone meetings.
I don't like meetings.
So to hear him talking about doing another little research project. So what'd you do, man? What'd you figure out?
So, you got to give me a minute to kind of set the stage.
Okay.
For this one here.
You got it.
Because understanding how it came about is as important as what I'm characterizing as a scientific study.
Okay.
Of sorts.
Okay.
It might not even fit under the category of scientific study. It might just be a random musing.
Okay.
So, I got a message from an admitted right-wing person.
Okay.
But not one of those kind of right-wing people. Someone that you might consider a reasonable-minded, intellectually curious right-winger person. Someone who you could probably disagree with, but you could have a reasonable conversation about what you disagree with on policy. Mm-hmm. Because he rides the line, right?
Okay.
Right. So, you watch right-wingers, and they are against abortion almost wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. But they're also against government intrusion in your life, which is, that doesn't work together.
Yeah, right.
Well, he understands that. He's like, well, that's ridiculous.
Right.
I don't believe in abortion, but I don't believe that I should be intruding on your ability to have an abortion.
Right.
Right? So he's that kind of Republican. Not that I want to spend a lot of time with his ass. I don't want to do that. That's not. Don't think we ain't friends.
That's Eric's qualifier.
Right.
He can roll with you to the corner, but he ain't taking no long drive with you.
Right. We ain't friends. He hasn't said that I don't support Trump, but he hasn't said I do support Trump.
Okay.
So I don't know where he stands on that, and I don't want to know.
Right.
Right.
You know enough to be able to say, yeah, man, we can talk from the sidewalk.
Yeah, arm's length.
Yeah,
arm's length. Right. So let me tell you what he said in one of his messages. And there's a couple of embedded questions in what he said that this is what's inspired what I'm characterizing as a scientific experiment.
Okay.
So he said, Eric, why do cities like Chicago that are run by blacks, he called us blacks, the blacks, you know who we are, right, have failed to lift up blacks? It goes on. Mm-hmm. Why does the public educational system fail to teach the basics reading, I'm reading verbatim, so there may be some typos, okay? The basics reading, writing, and math. Why is black on black crime so much bigger? Mm-hmm. You know the answers to these questions, right? Mm-hmm. I do too, and a lot of you who are listening, you know how to respond to something like this.
Right.
Why do blacks keep voting in blacks that keep promising a better life but never follow through? Example, Baltimore. All right, so my initial pushback was, well, I'm not going to tell you what I said. I'm going to tell you how he responded to my initial pushback, okay? Because I want to dig deeper into what he asked, question by question, right? So he qualified one of his questions. He said, let me correct that. Why do blacks keep voting for both black and white people that never follow through in creating an environment that allows all people to have success in life? And he said carriers, but he meant careers. You know, they can't spell most of the time.
You're being kind.
Yeah. So, okay, so that was a lot that I gave you. I know you may not have written it down. You probably don't remember half the questions he asked me. I get that. So I'm going to break them down one by one. But so before I do that, what crossed my mind was he's asking this questions, why are things this way? Mm-hmm. And my thought was, why aren't we asking the question, why aren't they that way in your community? Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking to myself, that is so much more of a compelling question, right? Mm-hmm. If you believe that what he characterized is correct, and it's not, I would beg you those who have these questions, left and right, to ask the other question, which is why aren't they occurring in your neighborhood? I think that the answers will be far more compelling than the answers you get to his questions. Let me start with the first one. Why cities like Chicago that are run by blacks, he probably means blacks and white folks, have failed to lift up black people.
Okay.
So think about the equal and opposite question.
Why is it, in case y'all didn't plug in on that, I'll interpret, why is it that cities like whatever in America,
white cities
cities
that are mostly white with white mayors
that have white mayors, Democratic or Republican, run by white men mostly, why are those communities flourishing? And
why have they succeeded in uplifting their residents?
Right. Okay.
Why have they succeeded in uplifting their residents?
So,
answer that.
Okay. Well, all right. As quick as I can.
Right.
Because you
just
know
a
me.
General,
you know me.
General answer. Right.
Why do you want to put me on the spot to answer that question?
Well, because you know the answer. I know you know the answer. It's actually really simple.
Yeah, because
they're well resourced.
They're well resourced. They got stuff. They got stuff, y'all.
Right.
The stuff that they have, and stuff can be defined by a lot of things. One of the biggest ones that they have is peace of mind. Peace of mind is a
That's a cyclical argument, though. So you could argue that
what is it based on?
Peace creates peace of mind, and peace of mind feeds the peace. It becomes cyclical.
You have okay, so we'll stay away from that. We'll go on something that's more tangible. You can put your thumb on. You have resources. Let's just number one, home ownership is
you have a greater opportunity for home ownership,
and that's built into the fabric of your leadership, whatever you want to call it, your politicians, not taking dollars and moving them to other communities. If we want to start with that, that's one way of positioning.
It could be too. Or it could be as simple as that people who live in these other communities that he's describing don't have typically generational wealth.
And it starts with home ownership.
Right.
That's the number one tool. Every financial person worth his or her salt will tell you that home ownership is the baseline of wealth creation, development, and transference.
Right.
So let's just start with home ownership. There's a higher rate of home ownership as one of those things that they have access to resource-wise.
How about their schools per pupil are funded?
How they're funded, first of all, but then they're funded.
But their per pupil amount that ends up washing out is usually higher than communities that engage in what he thinks goes on in Chicago.
Right. The other thing is that they're I don't know how to phrase this, so Eric, you're going to have to pick this one up and run with it. But as it relates to the schools, that's based on people working in a community and a tax base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how the schools are funded is a problem. But the end result is they end up being funded better, right? So I'd love to hear from you guys. The number is 773-763-9278 as it relates to that particular question. I mean, why is it that your community isn't that way? Even though that it's typically wrong. I mean, first off, why cities like Chicago that are run by blacks have failed to uplift? He changed that to Democrats, I think, down the road, but they failed. Well, that's just wrong. The cities like Detroit and Gary and Newark, they created largely the black middle class. So they didn't fail.
And the white middle class. Let's see.
Right. They created both, but it invited all the people into the middle class.
And in many of those cases, so this is, I've been bridling back, but in many of those cases, I had to write down a woman's name, and I've said this to you before privately and certainly on the show. That's a former friend of ours. That in 2015 we were sitting on our back porch talking.
Former friend, I heard that.
Yeah, clear. And she's a former friend because of her inability to develop and grow on these issues. She asked me the question, so Richard, why is it that the schools in Chicago are failing? Why are schools in CPS doing so badly and the students there doing so badly? She lives in Naperville. She and her husband and two daughters at the time were both their twin daughters living seniors in high school. And I said, do you know the history of your community, that being Naperville, and how it was started and how it developed and where some of the funding came from?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I said, do you know that history well enough to speak to it in relationship to the school?
You know she doesn't.
Did your daughter? And she didn't know the answer.
No, you know she didn't. You asked the question knowing she didn't know the answer.
So it was my parallel of what you are trying to do with how did your community get to be or is the way that it is.
Right. Because if you're doing it right, then why aren't you pushing for us to do it, the cities that you think are failing, to do it the same way you're doing it?
And helping out.
Right, because the other assumption that bubbles to the top in this situation, if you think, for instance, that the city's doing everything that your community's doing, but the people are still failing, then that means that you think that the people who are receiving the benefits of the city don't know how to use it.
Right.
They're animals, that's wrong too.
Well, that thought
We're
is
not animal. We don't want to live in communities that have all the social ills that we describe.
No. They don't want to, but what are you left with? So I went on to say to her, from a resource standpoint and the stuff standpoint, I said, well, let's just look at the number of, I said, frankly, white flight has a lot to do with the success of your community. Resources were taken from and placed in different parts of the metropolitan area of Chicago, and as it would be with any top 10 metropolitan city in the country.
Right.
So we know that it starts with, and it's all about resources.
Right.
That is the singular answer.
But I don't want to give credence to the question. I want to give credence to the question.
On the other side.
The question on the other side. What
Right.
is it about yours that makes it right? And then why aren't you then advocating for that to happen everywhere? Right.
And a parallel question, sorry, could be with that. And what is it that because this ties to kind of where we are with what happened with Sister Ginsburg. What is it that you're willing to do if you can explain why your area is succeeding,
right.
What is it that you're willing to do to make sure that other areas do succeed?
Yeah. Okay. Second question, why did the public education system fail to teach the basics, reading, writing, and math?
The R word, once again, starts with resources. But conversely, why is it that your school succeeds at teaching those basics, reading, writing, and we used to say arithmetic?
Right.
Why is that? What is it about that community that makes it capable of doing that repeatedly?
Okay, you got the rhythm.
I got the rhythm. It didn't take me long.
Right. Why is black on black crime so much bigger? Well, you can't answer that one because there's no such thing as black on black crime. If you look at the stats, white people commit crime against each other as often as, if not more,
proportionally
than
higher.
Black people.
And numerically higher.
Right. So there's no such thing as black on black crime.
Well, and if it is, then that means that there is no such not a thing as white on white crime. In other words, if black on black crime exists as a thing, then you have to label a white person doing something criminal to another white person white on white crime. You don't get to parse that one.
Right.
So
exactly.
So we get to ask the question in reverse. Right. I don't know. Tell us why. And
tell us why white on white crime is so high.
Right. Because one of the things that I said to this particular no longer a friend person, and I like to call her and her husband that because of the way the buttholes that they acted. I literally asked her, I said, well, tell me this. Because she asked the question, every time I turn on the news, I see, things that are happening in the inner city and people are being murdered and robbed. And I said, so tell me why there's so much domestic abuse in communities like Naperville and communities like Schaumburg. And I said, can you explain that?
Just crime. It's just crime. Crime is crime. It's not black on black crime or white on white crime. It's just crime. There's no such, that's just ignorance of the data.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as black on black crime. So that one doesn't even deserve an answer or a corresponding question. And if by chance you feel inclined to ask that question, the question then becomes, why is white on white crime as high as black on black crime?
Right. Well, especially if you are making a statement that black on black crime is a thing and it's higher. Because he said, why is it so high? Right?
So much bigger.
So much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bigger than what?
Yeah. Bigger than what?
Bigger than what?
Right.
Bigger than what? Black on white crime?
So you got people walking around with these notions, left and right people, politically, who believe that these are issues. And
I'm done being upset with Republicans who are center and right.
Listen, Republicans,
I'm done with that. The people who, and I just got to get this out. I know we got to go to break. I'm not upset with people anymore that are on the right, center right, and further right. I'm not, because I know what they are. My father used to say to me, and you heard me say this, E, when he growing up in Mississippi, he knew when somebody was going to call him the N-word. He knew when he was going to get called a nacho. He could see it coming.
Yeah.
And he said the difference of living up north is you don't see it coming. You got to prepare yourself for and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Your father experienced the same thing.
Absolutely.
So to that end, regarding our current situation, my issues are with middle of the road progressives, liberals, Democrats who call themselves woke and able to see, but not doing the work.
Right. Those same group of people you've talked about who pose these same questions.
Those are the ones
I got a problem with.
That's what I got a problem with. Because it's like if you schooled me on something for years, Eric, and you kept saying, Rich, this is how you do this, and I'm getting it, and I'm doing well, and I'm moving forward, you're like, okay, my man's got it. But if I keep dragging my behind, every time you try to learn me new, and I'm not getting it, you have the right to have an issue with me.
Right. Exactly. If you're properly resourced and I'm screwing it up, then we got a problem. The problem is the resource. Here's the last question. Why do blacks keep voting in blacks? He changed it to blacks and whites that keep promising a better life but never follow through. Example, Baltimore. Well, the answer is really, if we're going to answer the question, is black folks elect idiot politicians as often as white folks elect idiot politicians.
Exactly.
So now he thinks all of a sudden black folks vote for idiots, but all white people vote for smart politicians.
So because my brain immediately went to, so tell me then why white people vote in Orlando, for example, that has a high sexually transmitted disease disorder. Those politicians. I mean, I'm the wrong dude. You know this about me to ask that kind of question to.
So the larger and equal and opposite question is, why do so many people vote for these idiots who are our politicians, local and national?
Of whatever stripe they are.
Right. Black folks don't vote for idiots more often than anybody else.
Or disproportionately black, for that matter.
Right.
Because sometimes, what are our choices?
Right.
I mean, plain and simple, the math is, who should we vote for then?
Right.
Who you voting for? These folks over here?
So yeah, my science is it possible to turn the question around? To ask that same question about the larger group, especially when there's so much ignorance embedded in these kinds of questions. And can something come of it? That's the hypothesis in my science.
Yes.
Can something come of that from a conversation with someone who is a reasonable, intellectually curious person?
Well, I have a question. Why did you play my absolute favorite Isley Brothers song?
This is funky. You making that guitar scream, man.
Y'all forget the first half is lyrics. The second half is the Isleys showing what funk is all about.
That's right. The number is 773-763. I see the lines lit up already. I see Steve, Aaron, Jibu's back.
Jibu.
My man.
Oh, my gosh. He's out there. Look at it.
And Norbert. That's right. Stay tuned for more of the Family Meeting.
This is Melanie Martin Ware, Howard University alumni, class of 1990. Keep listening to The Family Meeting.
Lyles is ready to help you, whether it's personal injury, criminal, DUI, and OWI, nursing home, product liability, it doesn't matter. Call 219-939-9LAW. That's 219-939-9529. That's right. When you're driving and get into a wreck, you better call Donnell. Had a few drinks too many? A cop hits you with a DUI or OWI? I think you better call Donnell. Arrested and facing criminal charges, misdemeanor or felony? I think you better call Donnell. Purchase a product that causes you or a loved one harm? I think you better call Donnell. When your loved one is neglected and abused in a nursing home?
I think you better call Darnell.
That's right. You better call Attorney Darnell Lyles and get represented right. And the first consultation is free. Yes, free. So call right now. 219-939-9LAW. That's 219-939-9529. Attorney Darnell Lyles. Darnell Lyles.
Make a smart financial move for retirement. Make your retirement money into an IRA. Schedule income. Support your dream. Explore investment options. Gain full control over your money. Give the money a chance for additional tax-deferred growth. How do you start? Call Polaris Wealth Management, the resource for IRA rollovers. Call 312-951-2606 or email us at polaris@polarisadvice.com. Polaris Wealth Management is the resource for IRA rollovers. That's 312-951-2606 or email us at polaris@polarisadvice.com. We help new retirees plan to protect their money. Securities offered through Line Street Financial LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Line Street Advisors LLC. Polaris Wealth Management and Line Street are not affiliated.
This is Paul Mark Wallace, President of NSYNC Consulting Services. Our website is www.nsyncs.com. Welcome back to the family.
Number is 773. Seth, you whistling again, man?
I stopped.
I don't think you were supposed to whistle funk, man.
You can't say
like
it.
Andy Griffith or nothing, man.
Well, that's the skill set I have. I can't say the lyrics.
You're a skilled whistler, huh?
I'm a skilled whistler.
Talented whistler.
That's right.
Boy, that dude Rich can whistle, man.
Yeah, he can't rap. He can't lyric, but he can whistle.
Don't let him sing, though. Don't let him sing, but he can whistle. Boy.
Close your ears.
Like hell, man. 773-763-9278. So we got a little scientific experiment. Disabuse me of that notion, y'all. If it's not technically a scientific experiment, I don't care.
Yeah.
I called it that, but that's the first adjective that came to my mind.
I would agree. I mean, what else are you going to call it? If you just took it, if you took scientific out in the experiment, okay, fine, whatever, to make people happy with technical.
It may just be a little game. It may be a game.
That's actually even better if it's a game. Yeah, a game I played to determine why a dude would ask me why, not knowing that I was going to flip the script on him and say, why in your backyard? How come your stuff is so nice, comparatively speaking?
Right.
And what is it that's going on with your legislators and leaders, quote, that makes your stuff nice?
I just think intellectually, I just think that the answer to that question takes us a lot further in solving some of the social issues than asking the opposite.
Sure it does. Sure it does. So Eric, all right, let's ask this question of us and then to the greater audience. Do you think that people who ask that kind of question really care for an answer, or are they looking for an environment to speak their judgment? If my question was a good question.
Do
they really give a damn, or are they just running their damn mouth?
Yeah, I guess they're running their mouth or whatever. It is born out of ignorance, though. Then again, the problem is the people who we think are advocates, to the extent that they pose the same questions, that's just problematic for me. It's a problem because the questions show a good deal of ignorance about what the real problem is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give this as another example. And I know at some point you're going to say, well, damn, Rich, who are these people you're talking to? But you would be right.
You ran into somebody else crazy, man?
Well, this is about a year ago. I was at the gym on the bike, riding a bike, and this lady was 2 bikes over from me talking with a friend of hers. And one of the ladies said, and in fact, I'll tell you what it was. It was the week that the sentencing was coming down for the officer that murdered Laquan McDonald. And she said, you know, if the black community were better at keeping their kids in school, these kinds of things wouldn't happen.
That's just ignorant.
Right. And this was a woman who called herself a social worker, white female social worker. And I didn't have the energy to go over and ask her to, you know, give me some more content because I knew where that was going to go. So I gave her a pass that afternoon. But that's the kind of thing that is, you know, frustrating, because when those questions get asked by people we would like to say we welcome their participation and involvement, they end up asking dumb A questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By that, because this goes to the question of their own blinders, their ignorance, to your word, but their own unwillingness to get out of their own way to learn something and be intellectually curious. They keep repeating running the same play and getting it wrong. Mm-hmm. And the same play is not getting out of the environment that they're comfortable in, their privilege, and then stepping into an area that would make them vulnerable to actually learn something different or see things from a different set of eyes. I mean, that's fair. That's my brain, you know, going into overdrive on me analyzing white folks and what they need to do better. Because at the end of the day, Eric, I mean, I'm unapologetic now, and if y'all upset with me, blame it on Eric, because he's the one that opened the door.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, you be upset with me, but I'm gonna blame it on Eric. I'm unapologetic anymore. I used to be a lot more apologetic before I started working with you on this show. That's, if I were to look for a touch point to say, when did I go from the Rich Chew that, you know, wants to give people a shot and a chance and all that.
Joe conciliatory ass.
Well, my conciliatory behind to being less of that. And it's there is a moment where I can go, since being on our show, I have been less willing to say, yeah, I'm going to give them a shot. And the reason is, guys like you and I have spent our lives fielding questions from guys like this guy, whether he's Republican, Democrat, or Independent, about why black people this, why black people that.
And I don't know why this one caught me, because usually we get, by the way, thank you guys for all the hate mail. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm glad to know who you are.
It tells us which street not to drive down.
Right. I know who you are, who to avoid, who not to hire if they want a job.
Because we know how to find you.
Right.
Believe us.
Yeah. So thank you for that. But, you know, it comes in all forms. Every once in a while, I'll stop, take a look, and kind of scan. This one, you know, started off in a way that caught my eye for some reason. Partly because of who sent it, and partly because the first question he asked was fairly compelling to me. So, you know, I want to hear from you. I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean to ask the equal and opposite question that too many people ask, or the questions that people ask that are born out of ignorance about the condition of certain people, namely black people in this country? So let me go ahead and hit the phones here. We're going to hit them early today. Let me start with Steve calling from the Gold Coast. Steve, what's up, man?
Wow, yeah, you guys have certainly touched on a big issue today. I mean, and to lend credibility to what you're saying with regard to context and people not really flushing things out. People have tons of opinions, as the old adage goes. You know, everybody's got an opinion, just like everybody has a rear end. That doesn't make for much of a case in terms of what you're arguing. If I had to unpack everything that you just talked about, I would, in the scholarly community, I would have to contact 8, 10, 12 different people from different fields of interest and scholarship and research in order to get them to address that issue. But we have people who are sitting somewhere in a gym on a bike who think they're qualified to examine, assess, and discern what this is about. I mean,
Steve, what you been drinking today, man?
In America. I mean, we should just call every university in America and tell them to shut down about 2-3 dozen departments because we're just wasting time. People are there for years doing research. They're earning degrees. You don't need to do that. Just watch Fox News. And you can pretty much make public policy. I mean, this is ridiculous. So when people start with this, well, my community looks like this and this community looks like that, as if things were born yesterday. Like you walked into a room and you saw somebody over here who looked homeless and somebody over here who was well-dressed in a $5,000 Brioni suit and said, oh, well, that guy has bad character, this guy has great character. This is a good person, that's a bad person. He works hard, he does, without ever once considering the possibility about what brought each of them to that position in life. And there's a social philosopher called John Rawls. He died a few years ago. He's considered one of the preeminent minds of this century, of last century in this field. And he has what's called this veil of ignorance, an intellectual experiment in which you say to yourself, if I had to construct a society and such that it were fair, but I didn't know where I was going to be in that society. I didn't know I was going to be intelligent or average. I didn't know what race I was going to be, what gender I was going to be, disabled or healthy, whatnot. What kind of society would I construct? And it turns out that everybody constructs something far more fair than what we have. The society we have is one that we construct where we start with where we are. So in other words, if your parents left you perhaps several $100 million, as Donald Trump did, then yes, you might be encouraged to go down a route that says that, you know what, this is the system, I'm brilliant, look at the evidence that I'm brilliant, I've got a lot of money, and therefore this system must be working. As opposed to how about we examine what's wrong with the system and why is it that some people have and some people don't. And yes, you're right. I would respectfully disagree on a couple of points, but you're right with regard to this whole resource thing, because when housing, which is the main mechanism by which we pass wealth down from one generation to another for the middle class, when you effectively create policies which deny certain groups the capacity to own homes, and at the end of 30 or 40 years, you have a lot of rent receipts, but you don't own anything. Well, whereas if somebody in Community B has paid off a, say, $230,000 home, that's about the average price of an American home, and they're then able to pass that on to 2 children who divide that asset, and along with a few other things. Now, what can you do with your share of $115,000? Well, you can pretty much put a down payment down on something that's better than the average American home.
Start a business.
So again, and then of course, you've already alluded to it, because we all know, well, at least we should, I hope, but a lot of people don't, I suspect, that how much your house costs determines the kind of education your children get. You live in a $2 million home, and your neighbors live in $1 to $2 million homes, and you tax those homes at a rate of about 2%. Well, do the math. What's 2% of $2 million that you pay in property taxes every year versus what we pay in places like Harvey, Illinois? That's literally 1/5 of what we spend in places like Naperville and Winnetka on children. And by the way, these are the children who need more than anybody else, and we spend the least on them because we have this ridiculous system that says we're going to use property taxes to pay for education, where the wealthiest people already have the greatest advantage in terms of their kids, tutors and the best counseling, we're going to give them 4 and 5 times what we're going to give to people at the bottom. And then we're going to wake up and say, wow, why don't those kids in Harvey do better? What, excuse me, what, do I need to go over that again? Why would you assume that they're going to do better? You just spent 1/5. Would you spend 5 times on one child of yours versus another? What parent would say that? But that's what we do in America. So then we say to ourselves, why do we have these outcomes? And this is the part where I would respectfully disagree slightly in this. I do think that there's much higher crime in many communities, but that's a pathology that comes with poverty. So
under-resourced communities engage in higher crime. I agree with you. Right.
Exactly. So yes, there is higher crime in many Black and Hispanic communities because we under-resource them. Terrible schools. We don't have the kind of social structures there, which again, you need to prop up those systems, and therefore, people who don't have other options a lot of times turn to crime. People are not going to starve or say to themselves, "I'm going to go out and sell marijuana or cocaine." I'm guaranteeing you, they're not going to say, "I'm going to starve," as opposed to selling marijuana. They're going to sell marijuana because they don't have any other opportunities, so they're going to do that. And at places where drugs get sold, because people fight over drug territory, violence happens. So again, you guys, like I said, you've unwrapped a lot. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but yeah, there's no way I could address it in the period of time that you guys have for this show.
Thank you. I'm glad I put it on you like that. But here, chew on this for a second. I want to make a fine point on what we said about the crime thing. It's the black on black crime thing. So black people commit crimes against people who are within proximity of you.
Right.
So because of how the lines are drawn, because the communities are segregated, black people commit crimes against black people more often than they do against white people, and vice versa.
And here's how I'll tag onto that a little bit. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. Sorry.
But it's also the case that per capita the crime it's much higher. You're literally 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times as likely to be a victim of violent crime if you're from say the Gresham Auburn neighborhood as opposed to Lincoln Park.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We're just talking about who commits crimes against who. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and that's I'm agreeing with your point. I think that all of this is a pathology that's generated from these systems that we have created, and so you have people who want to start this whole discussion in the middle, because and this is another point I wanted to make is what we think of as successes in terms of the civil rights movement. We under-resourced these communities for decades, but at least you had professionals when there was segregation in African American communities like the near South Side and so forth. When you tore down those barriers, a lot of African Americans fled those communities. So doctors and lawyers and teachers and so forth went to live in those suburban communities because they too realized that they wanted something better for their children, and being under-resourced was not what they wanted, and therefore we relegated entire communities to basically people who were poor and people of color, and had very few leaders and very few other people who then could take on those reins of leadership. And then we're wondering why sometimes we get we get people who are terrible at their job. Yes, Kwame Kilpatrick was elected predominantly by African Americans, but Donald Trump was predominantly elected by white people. We get stupid people in office who are elected by different races all the time. I mean, but again, let's stop starting this discussion in the middle of the game and start talking about how we got here to begin with, and stop acting like, everybody started the race, with $100 in their pocket 2 days ago, and then we're wondering why this guy's finishing first, this guy's finishing second. No, let's ask ourselves why the people who are finishing last started with virtually nothing, and we keep creating obstacles for them so that they can't get ahead.
Right. Yeah. Steve, great point, man. Thanks for the insight, man.
Have a great week, Steve.
Let me get Aaron calling from Northbrook here. Aaron, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good. How you?
Pretty good, man. Just so as usual. He makes some great points. And the last one is the biggest one. You can't give white folks a block lead, some white folks, a block lead and say we're going to race one other block and we win. Mm-hmm. That's the way it's set up. But my biggest thing is SCOTUS. And I tell you why. You guys are astute gentlemen, so I know you know. This is big. This is big. Because if they get the majority, I know what they're going to do. He's already showing you what he'll do. And if he's putting people in there with his mindset and his agenda, get ready. Now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. We gave the gun to the monkey, so this is what you get.
Yeah, and we've been saying this, Aaron, we've been saying this for decades, that lack of participation and involvement by everybody across the board would lead to this. So you're right. I'm not taking anything away from what you're saying. People need to pull up and get ready because it's going to get interesting really fast. But we've been saying this for decades. As Eric says so oftentimes, there's monsters in the closet. This is a bar of that music that Eric's been singing.
I care about what's going on, what's getting ready to happen, but hey, man,
I can't lose any sleep over it.
You know what? Yeah,
we've been saying it.
Y'all gave the gun to the monkey. This is what happens.
Right. Now you're going to have, speaking of the monkeys, now you're going to have a Supreme Court, if this goes through, they already rather see a monkey with a diamond ring than you with you with anything. But I'm just saying, man, that this is serious because South Africa could happen here. And I say that because we know the dynamics and the diversity is changing, but you know who know it more than us? They do. And this is what this is all about, man. He is the last guy to push for white pride, white privilege, all this. Now, you stack the courts, what does it matter that we diversify? Because every time you go to court, it's stacked against you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So even as they get less population, we get more, Hispanics get more, and Hispanics especially. I don't know what they're thinking down in Florida. Well, I do, because it's the same thing, light, dark, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But why they would be interested in vote for this guy, because the people he's going to put on the court, they're going to be in the same boat as we are. And and what I mean is they may have a majority, like in South Africa, but all the laws are going to be stacked against them. And then when you go to get some justice, like I say, like Richard Pryor say, you go downtown Chicago to get justice, that's what you see, just us. And that's what it's going to be, man. That's what it's going to be.
Well, I
appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Aaron.
That's a good point, Aaron.
Better wake up.
Stay safe, brother, and keep talking.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. All right. What are you going to say, man?
Well, this is true. So the reason that I'm not going to get, we know what's going to happen. Eric and I could just say, y'all stand down, and we've been telling you. But the math on this on the other side is, this is why local elections matter, regional elections matter, because going forward, there's two guys on the quote unquote other side of this court that are going to die or soon have to retire. And if people do the work and get folks elected that you want to then nominate Supreme Court candidates, there's 2 seats that could come open. But you got to do the work now.
But this is what you get.
This is what you get. So now you got to deal with who we are.
It doesn't really impact me in any more significant way than I'm already impacted by the justice system overall. My people are going to suffer.
We were going to get the same judgments.
Yeah, so it doesn't. That's your problem.
That doesn't make us lackadaisical or unaware.
Y'all should have got your ass out there and voted for Hillary. That's what should have happened.
Been telling you.
Now is what you get.
That's what you get.
That's what you get now. Number 773-763-9278. Stay tuned for more of the Family Meeting.
I'm well inclined to use a light that comes from the learning tree. Yeah. Let the seed that grows and ages, give us our destiny.
This is Karen Fleshman, founder of Racy Conversations, www.racyconversations.com. Keep listening to the Family Meeting.
A 2016 study estimates that 13.1 million Americans were victims of identity theft that year. Fight back against identity theft by signing up for Identity Guard. Identity Guard monitors your credit and identity information with alerts that can help you respond quickly if certain changes indicating fraudulent activity are detected, as well as help protect your computer from viruses, keylogging, and other serious threats. Plus, with Identity Guard's dynamic credit management resources and tools, you will have helpful information as you make better financial and credit decisions. Identity Guard includes $1 million identity theft insurance and lost wallet protection, and more if you ever do become a victim. Protect your ID by visiting lookaftermyid.com. That's lookaftermyid.com to securely sign up for
Chicago.
Identity
This
Guard
is Richard
today.
Chill, First Capital Insurance Group. Have you been looking for a way to better grow your safe money? To make sure that your hard-earned income is protected from the inconsistency of the volatile markets? Have you often wondered how so many wealthy people protect themselves from loss when the stock market goes down, like it did during our most recent recession? Well, we have answers to those questions. We have solutions that allow you to win the market and inflation battle, reduce taxes on your hard-earned money, give you better than market performance by protecting your money during a down market, which allows you to leave a legacy for your family and loved ones, and most importantly, provide you with an income during your retirement years that can't be outlived, unlike your old 401k, IRA, pension, or mutual funds. So, if you want to revisit your old way of saving for the future and truly protect your safe money, give us a call at 312-243-4562 or go to our website, www.firstcig.com. That's www.firstcig.com. 1stcig.com, and click on the retirement planning button. We want to help you protect your future starting today.
This is Rodney Harrington. Welcome back to the Family Meeting.
Yeah, so let me say something real quick about our YouTube feed. Somehow or another, the chat got turned off.
Yeah, I'm texting Tressa to see if she has any clue if she gets the signal.
She doesn't have access to it. She wouldn't know.
Okay.
Apologize. Can't fix it now. I'm busy. I'm busy doing this thing here. So
ask the reverse why question.
Y'all gonna have to call. The number is 773-763-9278. Call us instead of typing today.
That's right.
Oh yeah. My man T. Hudgens sent me a email this week.
Yeah.
With some funk.
Really?
T. Hudgens knew a little bit about the funk.
Tiny amount.
But just a little bit.
Don't get too happy over there.
Just a little bit.
That's right.
That's right.
Man.
And he can't chat now, so he can't talk back.
He can't talk back. Ha-ha.
You're going to have to call, man. 773-763-9278. Let's drag Roosevelt into the conversation. Roosevelt, what's up, man?
The Velty one.
Wow, he called you the Velty one. How about that?
Hey, no Rosie Greer?
No, man, that's already taken. You're the Velty one.
Yeah, all right. I like that. Hey,
no, you don't. You're just being nice. Like, what the hell did he call me?
Velty.
That's what you're thinking.
It was Velty.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Right on, man.
I want to ask you a question. I want you to, either one of you, answer at the end when I'm done with my little commentary here. First of all, when is the last time you all got a call of a Trump supporter? I don't remember. I listen to your show every Sunday. So here's why I listen to your show. Because I want to be informed. I don't want no circus act on the side and all this garbage. And remember, there's 4 guys at the top of my head. I'm not going to mention your name. One of them is an African-American that don't call anymore. 3 white guys. They don't call anymore. Okay, why, I ask myself that question, why aren't they calling anymore? Because of all these shootings of African Americans at the hands of police. 2, they can't defend themselves on your show. And E, the reason why you, and I'll be willing to bet that you are the show out of all the shows on WCPT that gets the most hate mail. Why? Because you speak the truth. Why? Because it's an intelligent show without no side, no circus, and no BS. And here's the thing that got me so mad yesterday. There was an African-American lady that called another show. I'm not going to say what show. And she said that her Ronnie had done so much for this country, and at the top of her list was that he got rid of all these illegals so that African-Americans could take the jobs. Now, I thought that Trump ordered meat packers back to the meat factories, and they're dying, and they're getting sick. I never heard of any African Americans getting sick at meat packing places. That's just one example. Another example, on 26th Street here in Chicago, is the second largest, as far as the money making, as far as taxes, revenue that the city collects, outside of the Magnificent Mile. But I didn't hear of all these jobs that on 26th Street that all these African Americans were taking when those raids were being done on 26th Street, Little Village. And it got me mad also at the top of her list. She said that the reason, because they asked her, why are you a Trump supporter? The reason is because she's a mother and a conservative. And didn't we just this past week, Women in Georgia getting their uterus taken out like some kind of sick movie like The Island of Dr. Moreau or something. And they were Latino, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why a woman would call and still support this guy. Never mind that the woman is not white. She's black. She's an African American. And this is what she said at the top of her list. And it got me so mad. And I said to myself, wait a minute. They're killing African Americans on the streets. That could be your son. And she said, I'm a conservative. And I guarantee she's listening to the show. And I hope she calls. And that's my point. They don't call anymore. So that's what I wanted to say. When was the last time you guys got a call? And you know the names. And you know who I'm talking about. And they used to call you and call you. One in particular used to call you and call you. They don't call you anymore. And I noticed
they don't call us no more. Why don't you call me no more? You know what, Roosevelt? We chased them away, man. All this heat that we bring.
Actually,
you know,
Eric,
they
don't you
wanna deal
think
with this stuff, man?
Eric, do you think, and Roosevelt, I'm going to ask a question rather than say, that part of it is because to what Roosevelt said, they knew that they couldn't bring that garbage here and not be challenged by one of the three of us in different ways, but that's part of it. They couldn't defend that or those positions with any real sanctity. I think that's part of it. So the other thing I was going to say, Roosevelt, that woman that you're talking about, she's been calling other shows, not just on CPT, but throughout the country, because I have a couple of friends in out west.
Okay, so listen, y'all, we're getting dumber by talking about these idiots, man, so let's not.
Yeah, fair enough.
We just get dumber by talking about them, man. You're right, it's hard to defend. It's hard to defend this, but they will do their damn well best to do so.
In a different environment, closed up.
They just can't come up in here with that. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why, that's why you're getting all this hate mail, because they don't want to hear the truth. And here's my point too. Why do they listen to WCPT? Period. All you're going to do is call the show and take up space, and that's the idea: to take up time and space on the show, so that our voices that make sense don't get to get on the air.
Yeah. And you know what? Tressa was mad at me all the time for letting them say something. And I like this ignorance on full display. I like it. You know? So, Fox News is where it resides a lot. But when presented in a reasonable environment, it just looks stupid.
Yeah. And sometimes
I like that.
You have to put the sunlight on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Good point, Roosevelt. I appreciate you, man.
So again, and like I said before, I tune in to learn, to be informed, and to get some kind of idea. And you guys don't take no prisoners on either side. And that's another reason why I call. Because the Democratic Party has to be taken to task if they're a bunch of fools because they don't, get out there and speak up. And when it comes down to us, the African-American community and the Latin American community, more white people got to speak up because they haven't believed us for decades, and in particular African-Americans for hundreds of years, that there's been corruption in the police department in all the big cities of the United States. That's all I want to say.
Well, I'm glad you succeeded in making you think that we're smart for fooling you about that, but we'll keep faking it every Sunday for you and make you think we're smart.
That's right. And you'll keep showing up and being a great supporter, and we love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of this, I say duh. Every 5 minutes, I'm saying duh. Roosevelt, I appreciate you, man.
Stay safe, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, man.
Love you guys. Take care.
I'll be back.
All right, you too.
Let's see what's on my man Norbert's mind. Norbert, how you feel, man?
I'm feeling great. I've actually, since I retired, I've lost 30 pounds.
Good for you.
Hey, man, it's getting cold out. You better find them 30 pounds, man. You're going to need them in the cold.
Were you on your bike today? It was a good day to bike ride.
Yeah, I was on the road 16 miles in the white privileged neighborhoods of Naperville, which I do see more and more beautiful black people on the trails, which is awesome, and more and more black people in downtown Naperville. But I hope that we all can spend more time in the city and invest in those neighborhoods that need it. And I think it's our duty to help those neighborhoods. And I can talk about white privilege for hours. And the one I learned about the most recently that is the most despicable white privilege It even goes all the way back to my parents. My parents were poor in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, but they were able to get an FHA loan for a house. And the house at that time only cost $15,000, and the payment was somewhere around maybe even less than $100 a month. But my parents could afford it, and they got equity. At the same time that my parents were able to get an FHA loan in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a black family in Englewood would not be able to get an FHA loan. And then looking at me, my first loan was a VA loan, and the bank had to do all kinds of tricky maneuvers to get me that loan, to give me and my wife our first house, and so we were able to build equity. We had that equity to invest in and look at other things. But again, a black veteran in Englewood would not be able to get that loan. They had to do land contracts, and a land contract is a total ripoff. You don't build equity. If you miss a payment, you lose it. You lose your house. The owner who's got the contract will go and sell that house to another person with another contract and keep on making money. And that is such a ripoff. That's the kind of thing that causes the inequities.
Well, that was in the just for context here. That was in the 50s and 60s mainly, and it happened very readily here in Chicago. And if you look up an article written, well, I guess it's an essay written by our friend Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's called "The Case for Reparations." He lays it out in real clear order, how it basically was modern real estate sharecropping. Mm-hmm. I suspect, I can't say for sure, but I suspect my grandmother had such a contract on the west side of Chicago.
And Trump just announced another bailout for farmers, another $12 billion trade war bailout that's going to be about a total bailout for farmers this year of $32 billion. $32 billion for white farmers to overproduce crops and then dump them into how they have to give it away. They're overproducing so much because China's with the trade wars, China's not buying. What would happen if they just took $1 billion of that and put it into Englewood? It's the $12 billion, the $30 billion, all the money that's given away, handouts to farmers. What if just $1 billion, or maybe $1 million per resident of Englewood? What would that do?
It'd be huge.
It would.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be meaningful. You're right, but see that's the problem. Therein lies the problem, and it still begs the question that really kind of answers the solution you just presented. That is, why then is your community doing so well? And it's because of what you said. It was a significant investment into the community. So that it then ends up becoming the answer to the first question, which is, why isn't your community doing well? Significant investment.
Well, if there's a vacant storefront in Naperville or vacant land, there's investors lined up to jump in. It's like if a business goes under, like Lucent went under, there's still some of Lucent left as Nokia, but they had 10,000 employees in Naperville, and now they probably have just a few hundred. What happens is another company is ready to rush in and fill that void. Mm-hmm. And why doesn't that void get filled in the city?
Yeah, you're right. Hey man, be well, man. We got top of the hour break here, man. Be well, okay?
Stay safe, Norbert. Stay healthy.
Wakanda forever.
All right, that's right. Wakanda forever, baby.
That's right.
It's
man.
right over left, man. Right over left.
That's
right
it.
over left. Don't do the other way because it's
not
wrong.
this way.
That's
this
right.
way.
All right, y'all. The number is 773-763-9278. Tressa is not here today.
No.
So no news. You know, it ain't news unless Tressa does it, right?
Right.
So we'll take this break and come back and hit y'all again. Stay tuned for more of the Family Meeting.
They wouldn't let me stop. I kept on popping and rocking. Had the whole house popping.
Hello, this is Jay Phillips, and I'm a management consultant in Chicago. Keep listening to the Family Meeting.
Hey Chicago, are you always on the go? Take the new Shy 311 app with you to find the information that you need, submit non-emergency city service requests, and much more. Download the new Shy 311 app, built with Chicagoans for Chicagoans. That's Shy 311 on the App Store or Google Play, or check it out online at 311.chicago.gov. Stay informed with Shy 311. It's your gateway to Chicago services.
The reason that it's important to advertise on the family meeting is that we have an economical way of reaching a great audience. One could say it's not cheap, but what we like to say is that it's an effective buy for a business or an individual who wants to reach a quality audience. The reason that it's important or a good place to advertise is that our cousins love to patronize. I'm Richard Chu, also known as Bad, the Black Asian dude with the family meeting. For more information on advertising on the family meeting, you can reach us at info@tfmradioshow.com. That's info@tfmradioshow.com. You can also contact us at area code 708-794-6444, 708-794-6444.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on 820 AM WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Discover rooftop solar options at ComEd.com/solar.
Make a smart financial move for retirement. Make your retirement money into an IRA. Schedule income. Support your dream. Explore investment options. Gain full control over your money. Give the money a chance for additional tax-deferred growth. How do you start? Call Polaris Wealth Management, the resource for IRA rollovers. Call 312-951-2606 or email us at polaris@polarisadvice.com. Polaris Wealth Management is the resource for IRA rollovers. That's 312-951-2606 or email us at polaris@polarisadvice.com. We help new retirees plan to protect their money. Securities offered through Line Street Financial LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Line Street Advisors LLC. Polaris Wealth Management and Line Street are not affiliated.
The name of my business is Mrs. Indecent Exposure. We are an intimate aromatherapy, massage, bath, and body shop. We have the best aromatherapy, bath, and skincare products available. You can find us in Chicago and on the World Wide Web. We're located at 6916 West North Avenue in Chicago, 3 blocks east of Harlem Avenue. 773-417-3223. Mrs. Indecent Exposure, MRSNDEXPO.com.
Be sure to tune into my show Monday through Friday, 8 to 11 a.m. But right now, keep listening to The Family Meeting on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT, AM and FM.
You still hanging out with Stephanie, man?
Yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with her. She throws us some love every now and again.
Okay.
So,
all right, y'all. The number is 773-763-9278. Let's see what's going on with my man, with Big R. See, it's like Big R. It could be a he or she.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to call nobody big if she's a female. You know what I mean?
Regina, it could be Roosevelt.
I told you, I got a big guy with a big heart. That's all it is.
There we go.
But I ain't calling nobody big unless I know it's male or female, man.
You know. Don't ask me, Suavecito, Teresa. You know, what's going on with her? She okay?
She's taking care of some family issues. So yeah, she's good.
Her father's health is a little challenged right now. She's down there helping him.
All right. God bless him, and my prayers are out to him. Question: why ain't y'all talking about this food in the White House? I know we got a little subject going on otherwise, but now y'all covered that pretty good. This man went out to California and said it's going to get colder. He had a smirk on his face. I mean, White people, what's wrong with y'all? This man don't care if you die. He don't care if you get sick. I've been camping a couple times, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The fresh air, your nature rises. Oh man, don't have no women around you. Oh, this is crazy. But it's like the people that's out there mostly are white. What black people don't live in the woods. You know, Hispanic people don't need it. It's like we don't be out there. And these are Republican white folks being burned alive, having their homes and their cities destroyed by fire. And this a-hole goes out there.
You almost did it, didn't you?
And says, oh, it's going to get colder. Why are you still with him? It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Well, Big R, try.
I mean, this.
Save yourself some angst, brother. Save yourself some angst on this. I mean, because you can't get it. First of all, just resign yourself to the fact that you can't get it.
In the same way that you'd have to be a trained rocket scientist to understand how rockets fire and fly, you'd have to be a complete and absolute imbecile to understand how an imbecile thinks.
Because you'd have to put yourself in that mode to get it. And so that's why I say, give yourself a pass on trying to figure it out, but acknowledge this at the same time. You know when you see it, and you keep them up off of you.
In fact, embrace the fact that you don't understand. Because if you did understand, then you'd be one of them.
Bingo. Seriously.
No, I won't. No, I won't. No, don't denigrate me like that.
All right. But I will throw this out.
Since I was 18. I've been voting since I was 18 and could vote. And it's like, no, I got a certain sense of reason. This is logic and understanding about things, what's right and wrong.
That's my point, though, man. That's my point. You've got a sense of reason and logic. If you didn't, you'd be one of them.
Yeah. That's just they're part of the DNA or whatever we want to call it.
You need to embrace the fact that you don't understand them. That's a good sign.
This dude, it's TV reality show in the White House.
Yeah, it's like I never understood why a guy who
orange hair. He went from orange hair, yellow hair. Now he's trying to do the little silver gray hair, trying to look all patriarchal and fatherly. That cotton candy sitting on his head. It's like, please, please.
Imagine that. You know what?
I've seen less makeup on corpses at a funeral home. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
Think of that. If you were the guy, you said, listen, you know what? I'm going to avoid the experienced woman who has decades of history in serving the country. I'm going to go with the orange dude. The dude that gets up every day and paints himself orange. That's my guy.
Yeah. And
you'd have to be a special kind of idiot to be there.
Yeah, that's it. That you would go with that, consciously go with that person.
It's not even about being black and white and gray, whatever. It's about being human and having some damn common sense, which is, of course, these days is not common.
Never has been, but yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out. I'm gonna let you go. I want to do a quick shout out to all the Trumper humpers out there. Since you don't want to wear a mask because it's impeding on your freedom, I want you to not wear seatbelts also. You and your lady, whoever's sitting in the passenger side, do not put a seatbelt on because that's infringing on your special rights. So when you have that accident, you can go flying right through the windshield, okay?
Yep.
And whatever happens to you happens to you.
Hey, you're right, man.
Freedom so much.
You're right, man.
Okay.
Big R, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Big R.
Okay.
All right, man.
Guys, bye.
See him. So let me tell you something about this mask thing, man. I think that the Dems are chasing the wrong thing on the mask thing, by the way.
How so?
Sideguard here. I think it's virtually impossible to roll out what you might call a national mask mandate.
Okay.
Because it requires you to wrap it with an enforcement policy and procedure.
There's something that if you don't, there's not retribution, but there's
right.
If you don't do it, here's what your cost is.
I think it's easier for right-minded people who understand the efficacy of masks. Give them the power to not have to serve people or be around people who don't have a mask.
Bingo.
You have the right to dismiss somebody from a park if they don't have a mask.
It's your right to not wear one, but if you, this is the guy,
But
this
you
is
can't
the
come
rule.
around people.
If
You
you
can't
don't
go to
have one on,
restaurants.
you guys stay over here. We're going
Right.
to relegate you just like lepers to a battleship in the middle of the ocean. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine.
Right, you can go to your little Klan rallies or whatever you want to do.
But you can't come over here.
No, people who don't want to be
And-
around you without a mask, they then have the right, by way of law, to keep you from
How
being around.
powerful? Yeah, I agree with you on that. How powerful would it have been to have come out from the beginning? But again, it's not. It's like blaming the victim to some extent. But had the Democratic message been, look, we know, because I'm always thinking around the corner like you are. We know how y'all gonna respond to this. So what we're gonna do is make you feel empowered, so that you can put a sign up on your doors at your business that says no mask, no service, no question.
Or in your apartment
or
building.
in your apartment building. If you're going to wear
Right,
one in
you
some
can't
public
walk
areas,
the halls here without a mask.
can't do it. If you live here and you decide not to wear one, guess what? We're rewriting the bylaws of the property.
Right. You have a special path you have to follow to leave the building every day. It's through the basement or whatever the
Right.
case may be. Allow businesses and residences to put in those rules.
Self-determination.
And then they can go wherever they want.
Right.
If they want to be like that in their own homes or at their own Klan rallies or wherever they want to go, you can do that.
Yep.
Just not around us.
Federal property, state property, all the same. That would have been a better, and what it would have done is put some teeth in the quote-unquote mandate or soft mandate.
Yeah, it would have given the citizenry the power to implement mask rules.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got stores now that won't let you in.
Yeah.
Without a mask. Let the stores handle that. And support them and not do and
we got you. If you decide that, well, here's the state mandate, and as a store owner or business, you get to do this, and we got your back. No questions asked.
No questions asked. We got your back. You can do that. You can not serve.
And if they don't want to pay it, if they don't want to follow the rules, send them to us. We'll deal with them.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I agree.
Call the police. Get Karen out there to call the police on.
He doesn't have a mask. Was there a mask on?
Let's see what's on Bonnie's mind. Bonnie, what's up, girl?
Bonnie.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Good, Bonnie. How are you?
All right. Yes, I was, calling about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Today, I think it was today or yesterday, where Donald Trump said, we won. It's like, I mean, you don't have no sympathy. The lady just died. All he could say, we won. Like he going to go ahead and appoint a judge, even though when Obama was in office, they said that, they're so close, people already started voting and everything, so it's like they don't have no sympathy, they to rule the law, so it's just ridiculous, and, you basically got to keep your ears and eyes open, to see what's going on, it's just, it's really sad. She really tried to hold on, just to hold on to the seat, because she knew that what would happen, like, she passed on, and my heart goes out to her and her family, She was a fighter, for equal rights, LGBT, civil rights, so it's, we got to, I try to keep, being a part of the system, volunteer, try to be of service whenever possible, because I got kids and grandkids myself.
So, Bonnie, how do you think that this her passing ultimately will affect you?
Well, because they're gonna have 6-3. If everything goes accordingly, like I was watching the news this morning, Channel 7 and Channel 5. Just hearing the statements, and so like 6-3. I mean, it's more to the right.
Yeah, but how will the fact that the court 6-3 affect you, though?
Well, I have grandkids. I got grandsons. I got 11 grandsons. Thank God they doing the right thing. Trying to work, and they graduated from 2 graduated out of 8th grade, 2 graduated out of high school. The young black men. So yeah, as far as the law and everything, just have that other boy. that other person, on the left, there was more balanced out, because even to the day, people is getting killed for just being black, so I mean, it's so much stuff. It's just not one thing. It's a lot of things. You know, it's a lot.
Yeah, I hear you. Good point, Bonnie. Hey, listen, I appreciate you calling. Stay in there and make sure you vote, all right?
That's right. Bring some folks with you.
All the time.
All right, Bonnie. Thanks, Bonnie. Yeah. Yeah, this is tricky, man. And I purposely...
You mean back to your questions or RBG and the...
Well, I mean, I don't really see... First off, you know how the news does.
Yeah.
There's nothing else happening in the world except the death of RBG, and it's a tragedy.
It is.
There's nothing else in the world happening. And there's nothing that we need to be paying attention to besides that. Y'all elected this man. Mm-hmm. Y'all elected them, the senators, Republican senators. This is what you get. So move on. They're getting ready to do this.
They're going to do it.
Because let me tell you the bigger thing. Don't you wish that the people that you expect to advocate for your permanent interests were as ruthless, or as, just take away ruthless because that's too aggressive, committed to advocating for your permanent interest as the Republicans are? They don't care what you think about how they go about getting it. Yeah. They're going to go get it. We need the Dems. We don't need them to be hypocrites and stuff like that. We need them to advocate as voraciously as Republicans advocate for their permanent interests.
That's why.
And this is one instance where they didn't, and they got punked.
And on top of all that, the citizenry is part of the problem. I mean, the voting bloc that's, let's say, center left and further left has historically not been willing to really truly fight. Not in my lifetime. Not in my certainly adult lifetime. Where this is something guys like you and I have been talking about, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but there's meaning in this. We've been saying this for years. That the game is stacked, that the game is not balanced. Take your foot off of our necks, literally now, but proverbially for such a long time, on so many issues that are permanent interest. They're good for everybody. So sometimes when the question comes up to me, Eric, why? I ask, well, why not? Because a lot of the people who are showing the colors right now, for guys like you and me, we've seen their colors. This is nothing new. So I'm sad by her passing because we all hate to see anybody that we love and respect or admire, or whatever the word is, be gone. But we all gonna die. We know that, not to be callous about it. But she should not be the barometer. People's actions should have been the barometer. They should have been the rudder in the water to move this needle along. And people got lazy. They sat on their behinds. And the people then that
should have never come to this.
Should never come to this.
So for those people who decided they weren't going to vote, whether they were going to vote for the Green Party or let's try out this orange man, this is what you get.
Yeah, he's going to nominate three people.
Yeah,
that
it's going to happen. They're going to get it done quick.
And I told
not to mention, I mean that ain't even the big part. The big part is the federal judges.
Yeah,
I think I heard a report about 300 of them they just put on.
Because you don't even.
You're done.
You don't even get to the Supreme Court. Let me purport by numbers how many American citizens get their case to the Supreme Court. It's the federal judges that are going to impact your life right now.
You are done.
And so
that game is over. We lost that one. So I don't really see any value in having any extended conversation about RBG. Wonderful woman. I don't know the history. I've seen the history. So I can't talk knowledgeably about
I'm
her
a
history.
nerd that way. I've been following her since she was in D.C.
Cool. Wonderful woman. Wonderful woman. But great. She's gone.
Yeah.
And now y'all about to take some more ass whoopings. That's how it works.
And we've been saying, ass whoopings coming. It's in the trunk of the car.
That's what happens. So, whatever you think about what I just said, fine.
This one more time where we've been trying to help you.
It's getting ready to happen. They're going to put a new judge in who's going to strike down abortion. That's what's getting ready to happen.
And oh, by the way, and I know we're going to break, but I got to say this. For those who've been running around, and ladies, please do not get upset about this. Pause and listen, please. RBG stood for civil rights, not singular issue, just women's rights. She stood for all of that.
Right, which was inclusive of women's rights.
Which was inclusive of women's rights.
All right, y'all. Stay tuned for more of the Family Meeting.
Sanders. You can visit my website, www.drtiffanysanders.com. That's DRTIFFANYSANDERS.com. And keep listening to the family meeting.
Looking for the good stuff. Tighten up on your backstroke.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. All benefits are subject to policy definitions, limitations, and exclusions. For details, visit qualityoflifeinsurance.com.
Building a solid insurance plan is like building a place to live. It takes different materials to make it comfortable.
What about a castle? Isn't it just made of stone?
Castles are drafty, but that's not the point. Homes use different building materials, and you need different insurance coverage to give you security.
What about a teepee? Isn't it just made out of one thing?
Skins and poles, but let's stay focused. Quality of Life Insurance is affordable insurance from a leading company and can provide benefits if you're disabled or suffer a serious illness or injury and need help to preserve your lifestyle.
So it's a modern structure to meet my insurance needs.
Exactly.
To find out more, contact the Polaris Insurance Agency. Visit polarisadvice.com or call 312-951-2606 to learn about how we can help you make a plan for your future. That's 312-951-2606.
A 2016 study estimated that 13.1 million Americans were victims of identity theft last year. Fight back against your identity being stolen by signing up for Identity Guard. Identity Guard monitors your credit and identity information with alerts that can help you respond quickly if certain changes indicating fraudulent activity are detected, as well as help protect your computer from viruses, keylogging, and other serious threats. Plus, with Identity Guard's dynamic credit management resources and tools, you will have helpful information as you make better financial and credit decisions. Identity Guard includes $1 million identity theft insurance and lost wallet protection, and more if you ever do become a victim. Protect your ID for as little as $6 per month. Yes, that's only $6 per month by visiting lookaftermyid.com. That's lookaftermyid.com to securely sign up for Identity Guard today.
Hey Chicago, it's time for you to make a difference in a child's life. AARP Foundation Corps is looking for volunteers to help kindergarten to third graders read. You can do it. Here's how you can register. Call 877-926-8300. That's 877-926-8300. And reference AARP Foundation Experience Corps or visit www.aarp.org/eatchicago. It's time for you to help a child read.
To say that poor people, I'm going to say poor people because it's about the have and the have-nots in America right now. It really don't matter your color. It rather doesn't matter what is your classification economically. And the 90%, the 95%, I'll even go that high. 95% of us, if you're not in that 5% class bracket, we're not going to have anything coming. Because that's what they're doing. They bind the courts, they bind the politicians, and they're going to take over the country. And when that happens, you're not going to, you get hurt on the job, ain't nothing, oh well, so bad, so sorry for you. You know, you're not going to be able to sue and get police brutality. It's going to continue to happen. It's going to get worse because there will be no more consequences. Okay, the police will get that little, how people are getting paid now, that stuff is going to go away because they're going to write a law and it's going to be gone. So, people, voting affects your life. You need to vote.
Yep. Maurice is well put, man. That's the direction that's been heading.
Are you in Illinois, Maurice?
Yes.
Okay, early voting starts
they're
on.
lying about the fair tax right now.
Oh yeah, they're lying about that. Oh my God, they're lying about that.
Oh God!
I heard in one report this week they were saying they nuanced the rich people who were fighting against the fair tax nuanced their commercial by saying that one day it could happen to you. They finally admitted it's happening to them, but they're trying to get you to vote against it because one day it may happen to you.
You know what, Eric? It already happened to us. Every time they get a tax break, a tax cut. For 40 years, they've been getting tax cuts, right? And what happens to our taxes? Our taxes go up. So I don't need to subsidize somebody who got more money than they could ever use. But we are subsidizing them.
Right.
Yep.
Because less money they pay in the federal tax, less money comes to the state, less money comes to the city. Then those services that we need from the state and from the city and from the county, taxes got to go up because they're getting less money from the government. Why they get less money from the government? Because corporations are not paying their fair share and rich folks ain't paying their fair share. And our taxes are going up because they have to.
Yeah, and we elect imbeciles
that won't stop it
to manage for this.
Yep.
Good point, Maurice, man. Don't let it run your pressure up, though, man. Go on, get you some drinks or something, relax, man. All right.
Yeah, I'm just bit because we talking. But I wish people wake up and understand it was a reason why they didn't want people to vote. It's a reason why only white landowners was able to vote. Things changed so other people can vote. There's power in voting because you need, in this country, our government, you need like-minded people who think alike to get things done.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. I think early voting starts this week, man. Go get it.
Yep.
I'm going.
My man. All right, man. Be well.
Thanks, Maurice.
You too.
All right. Okay, so you're in this one. Okay. Let's get Mike in Forest Park. Mike, what's up, man?
Oh, I got so many things to talk about. I don't know. This last guy made a couple good points, but you guys just said it. We vote in idiots. Look who we voted in for Illinois. And Illinois is number one in people leaving the state. But that wasn't the reason for my call. The caller from Naperville that says, I could tell you all about white privilege. First of all, I was born white. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not a racist, so there's no reason for me to feel guilty. I don't know what I'm supposed to do according to what's been going on lately. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to allow or love what's going on with $60 million worth of damage to downtown Chicago and all these other cities? Sorry, but I don't think that's a good thing. So
let me since I don't know if you heard the early part of the show, but let me ask you the equal and opposite question. Why aren't you tearing up downtown Chicago?
Oh, I heard yours. I listen to you every.
No, answer it. I need you to engage me now.
Why am I not? Because I'm not going to tear it down. And number one, I don't want my ass kicked by the cops or the other protesters. What
I know, but listen, I need you to hear me on this one. Otherwise, the conversation doesn't work. Why aren't you? What is it about your life? Let me ask it a better way. What would have to happen in your life for you to feel like you needed to go downtown and break windows?
There's nothing that would make me.
No. Wait. Think about it for a second. Because if it's nothing, then that gives you a picture about how desperate people are.
Well, let me tell you something. The woman who was representing the Black Lives Matter says those companies have insurance. Really? What about the people that work for those companies? That's a good reason to trash a store? No.
I need you though. I need you to engage me though. I need you to engage me. No, don't do that. Don't do that, Mike. I need you to engage me, Mike. I need you to engage me, Mike. I need you to engage me here in what I'm trying to get done with you. I need you to tell me how desperate you must have gotten if you feel it necessary to go downtown and break windows. How desperate How desperate must your life have gotten?
I can't answer that.
Well, okay, so
that's fair. That's fair.
Wait a minute. So, Mike, that's the answer. That is the answer. You can't even imagine your life being that incredibly desperate.
Please. They were following. There was social media. Now you're making an excuse for what they
I'm not.
No, we're not at all.
Then you're not listening. Then you're not listening.
I'm listening to you. You're
you're not listening. You hear me talking, but you're not listening. You hear me talking, but you're not listening. You can't conceive. I can't. Let me tell you something. I can't conceive of my life getting so bad that I find it necessary to go downtown and break windows.
Right.
You have to figure out a way to understand, and it's unacceptable. I agree with you. It's unacceptable to break windows and cause damage. I agree with you.
Steal stuff.
Okay, but listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. But the problem is that we're not trying to understand the desperation, because we can't even conceive of that level of desperation. And I'm asking you to dig deep and figure out a way. Figure out a way, because you won't break windows because you have resources.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that all those people didn't get money to be fed and to do this stuff day after day, had no resources? That's BS.
It's not. It's science, man. It's science. Under-resourced people engage in antisocial behavior. I'm not making an excuse. I'm telling you why it's happening. I'm telling you why it's happening. If you got people who are...
Why don't you run for government and stop it? Help them then. I don't have the answer. I don't know.
Actually, you do. Actually, you do. Actually, you do.
Tell me how. I'm going to pay more taxes.
No,
you're not even willing to listen, though.
You don't have to pay more taxes. You don't have to pay more taxes. What you have to do is help in resourcing that community. That is, if you are running a business, you need to consider hiring people from that community.
Well, I don't run a business. I work for a business.
Okay, well, cool. You need to advocate.
You need to
advocate. You need to advocate in your company. You need to advocate in your.
All of us are black and white.
You need to advocate in your company, Mike. You need to advocate in your company that they hire people from that community.
He does. He does. I don't.
Okay, so good. I'm glad you said it that way. So those people who work with you, were they downtown breaking windows?
No.
Good. So there's your answer.
Okay, so because people are unemployed, they have an excuse to break windows.
No, it's not an excuse, man. It's not an excuse, man. It is antisocial behavior that under-resourced people engage in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a double bad. It's bad that the communities aren't properly resourced, and it's bad that they act out. Both are bad. We can solve one of those. And hopefully,
how come that spokesperson from Black Lives Matter, I forgot her name, Anita or something, she had a mask on. She said they weren't listening to us before. Now they're listening to us.
You don't listen listen, this country doesn't listen to peaceful protest. This country does not listen to peaceful protest. This country listens to peaceful protest when there's violent protest.
Well, so when a kid acts out at home and he spazzes out, the parents are going to give in to what he wants? I don't think so.
Well, see, these people aren't spazzing out. These people aren't spazzing out.
Oh, breaking windows and destroying.
That's not spazzing out. It's not a petulant child. The dude in the White House is a petulant child. These aren't petulant children. These are under-resourced communities.
I don't think he's promoting it. You got Governor Ted Wheeler of in Washington or whatever it is. He's promoting it.
No, he's not.
It's fine.
That's a lie, Mike. That's a doggone lie. That's just a dog. It's not promoting it. Okay, so then you know what, Mike? I got to get in. I got to get in on you on this because I'm not going to cut you off. I just want you to answer Eric's question because you refuse.
I already did. I said I can't answer that.
Okay, so but then he gave you an opportunity. See, this is the conciliatory Richard. I want to partner with people who are in your position, but you don't allow me to. Because your position is fixed. It's fixed. You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish, Mike. You did not.
Making excuses.
I'm not making excuses for a damn thing. Not one.
Okay, well, why are you saying damn then if I'm not making a point? I mean, you want to partner with me, but you said that people aren't being listened to. So just because my boss can't hire every single person that's from the community, that's going to stop it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And not your boss. The community as a whole hire people from that community.
You ask for an answer.
People who are properly resourced don't act that way.
Everybody in the community can do the jobs that we do.
So then, Mike, what's your answer?
Okay, that's not an answer.
What's your answer,
not
Mike?
an answer, man.
What should they be doing?
I would tell you what the
So then what should these people be doing that you want to say are destructive and poisonous?
You're talking over me. It's your show. What I said was I disagree with any leader, or Biden for that matter, for not speaking out against the violence and the looting.
Okay,
That's
so
that was my purpose of the call.
Okay.
And I said it wasn't until after 2 weeks ago that he said something. Do you think that I'm pro-violence? He never said it, and neither did any one of the Democrats.
That's not true either.
That's not true.
That's not true, man. It's not true.
It's not true, Mike.
It's not true. It's just not true, Mike.
It's not. And you should know better.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she looks the other way.
Yeah, and that just speaks to your character, but that's okay, Mike. I have a question for you about why would you not?
What color your skin is? If you're a jerk or I'm a jerk, then we have to pay the consequences.
So can I ask you a question on that?
The color of the skin matters. The color of the skin matters in this country.
The benefit of the doubt. You guys are the racists. I'm sorry.
He got it in. He needed to get that off his chest.
See, there you go, guys. That's an example of really lightweight hate mail that we get.
Right,
and we get that. And we're racist. We're the special little N-word.
Right.
All that stuff.
In his private confines, we know what else he says. So we let him get it off his chest so he doesn't hurt anybody in his community and let his violence come out against some woman in the community that he doesn't like because she's strong and forthright.
Well, here's the point, though.
So,
here's the point.
Good for Mike.
Can't even conceive.
Of having to be in that situation.
Can't even conceive of the depth of your depression that you say, I'm going to go downtown and bust some windows and take things. Think about what it would take for you to do that. Think about how bad your life must have gotten if you see that as an opportunity to get things, right? That's not making excuses for them. That is, let's finally deal with the social issues surrounding people who find it necessary. And the answer to the question is, he's properly resourced, so he doesn't find it necessary. He's not even inspired to go break windows.
And when you gave him the layup of the black people that work for his company, why wouldn't they do it? It's because of resources. He couldn't see that it doesn't necessarily have to be because you're black or white. It's about resources. But I want to throw this in real quick. Steve said something that was not necessarily profound, but applicable to guys like Mike. Mike is the prototype white male in America that thinks he started on third, that hit a home run, or you know the phrase goes.
Yeah,
he started on third base.
He got to first base.
Right. He started the race in the middle and thinks that his balance point is with everybody else.
Right.
That's a typical guy. Specifically, typical narrow-minded white guy.
So there you got a dose of it, right? Everybody got a dose of that? It gets a lot worse than that with hate mail. It gets way worse than that.
But wait a minute.
It's fun to watch, though, because the ignorance is profound.
Watch them run around in circles?
Well, just some people write, and it's all this misspelled words. And
no, I know. I mean,
it's crazy.
You should share it with me and Tressa more often. And now you just kind of look at it and laugh and give it the Eric grin.
Crazy. It's comedy, man. It's just comedy, man. It's a Dave Chappelle skit or something.
And Tommy's gonna have a field day with this. You know he is.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Listen, man, y'all need to get out there and go to register to vote and make sure register. Don't worry about if you are or aren't registered. Just register again. There's nothing illegal, like my man said, about registering twice. So do that.
Yeah.
Register.
Yeah,
so
Greg Palast,
early voting in Illinois starts this week.
Yep.
I think it may be Thursday.
Yeah.
Yo, man.
Get it done,
We got to shame these people back into their holes where they were quiet before. That's what we need to do.
They can be quiet.
All right, y'all. Yeah. Tommy's next, y'all. Stay tuned for more of the Family Meeting.
Told me I had the opportunity to see how funky she could be. And when I looked into her eyes, the fire that held made me realize the flame was burning just for me. The lady tempted me. I closed my eyes, it was plain to see.
Hi, my name is Constance Means, and I'd like you to keep listening to the Family Meeting.
And oh, the message she'd relay when she would take my hand and say, do you want to get funky with me? Do you want
have a pain that won't cease? A health issue that's not getting better? It may be time you visited Health on Earth Wellness Centers. With over 20 years experience, 4 Chicagoland locations, and patients that range from 2 months old to 93, Health on Earth Wellness Centers are fully prepared to meet all your chiropractic needs. We have state-of-the-art facilities in Crestwood, Tinley Park, the South Loop, and Naperville. Don't let being healthy be your last resort. Make it your first choice. Make an appointment today at healthonearth.org. That's healthonearth.org.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. All benefits are subject to policy definitions, limitations, and exclusions. For details, visit qualityoflifeinsurance.com.
Quality of life means health and peace of mind. Quality of life insurance means protecting your family if you die, but it can also provide income if you suffer a serious illness or injury and need financial help to maintain your lifestyle.
To find out more, contact the Polaris Insurance Agency. Visit polarisadvice.com or call 312-951-2606 to learn about how we can help you make a plan for your future. That's 312-951-2606.
A single K plan is a 401k plan designed especially for business owners and immediate family, regardless if they are incorporated or not. Single Ks offer both employer and employee contributions and in many cases have no setup fee or annual plan administrative charges. Single Ks are simple to administer with no government reporting required. Most importantly, this plan allows employees to access their savings via hardship withdrawals or loans. Visit our website at polarisadvice.com or call us about your business or organization's retirement plan at 312-951-2606 or email us at polarisadvice.com. That's 312-951-2606 or email us at polarisadvice.com. Polaris provides empowering advice for everyone.
Securities offered through Lion Street Financial LLC, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advisor services offered through Lion Street Advisors LLC, registered investment advisors. Polaris Wealth Management and Lion Street Financial are not affiliated.
Take a ride, there's a party over there that ain't no job. It's live, it's all the way live. Don't even have to walk, don't even have to drive. Just slide, slippity slide. Just forget about the troubles in your 9 to 5 and just sail on. That's what you do, just sail on. Now the dude's so funky, hey, what do you think? What is it called? It's called a lakeside stank.
Come along. This is Susan Manuel, www.ablconsulting.net. Welcome back to the family meeting.
Yeah, y'all. How you like that, huh?
That's what we've been talking about. Didn't believe us. There it is.
I had one, by the way, who talked about, well, you know, E, man, you've had a solidly middle class life, and you know you've had it good. How do you? Why would you think that Black Lives Matter is good? And you had it good. Why would you think that? And I think the larger point is that people don't understand that these microaggressions and overt aggressions exist at every economic strata in the black community.
Yep.
So while I may not be,
also known as LeBron James getting the N-word spray painted on the gate of his mansion.
Right, on his mansion.
On his mansion. And yet you want to ask a dumb A question like, you've had a great middle class life as a black guy. Right. Why would you be? That's what we just want to have him kick rocks.
Yeah.
Because Oprah goes to walk into a Fifth Avenue store, and they bring the security to the front door before they let her in. She could buy the whole company.
Different strata of aggressions happen to all of us all the time. And we have to make decisions in that vein every single day. We listen, we both walk into a store, and we want to make sure that they can see us all the time. We're conscious of that. We don't go around the back of the store where they can't see us.
Nope. And if we get into a part of the store where there's too many displays and we can't be seen, I immediately walk away from that part of the store.
Come out
till I can be seen.
Right.
And
to this day, I will not get in take a long elevator ride with a white woman.
Yeah,
this day, I won't.
I can't say that, but I can say this. When I do get into an elevator with a white woman that's not my wife, I make an absolutely certain body position change. Before COVID and now, I turn myself and I'm facing that person.
I will not get on.
I know you won't.
won't get on.
You probably wouldn't get on the elevator with me and a strange white woman.
No, both of us on there with a white woman?
Yeah, you'd be like, Rich, you go ahead. I'll take the next one.
Right.
And so, we get to laugh about this because that's how we've self-medicated it over our 58 and 54 years, respectively. But, I get sick and tired of guys like Mike trying to figure out a way to justify their complicit behavior at the same time trying to denigrate somebody else's desperate behavior.
Completely missing the point on cause and effect. I mean, so people are not. Let me give you a really good international example. The Palestinians aren't blowing up things for no reason.
Yeah,
right. Somehow or another, people are subjugated, and they're acting out. What they're doing is terrible. I agree with you. But you got to deal with both. You got to deal with the bad behavior and the causes of the behavior.
Eric, Steve, I go back to Steve's point again, and the reason that it's important and relevant now is I take this guy, Mike, who called in. I have no idea what his ethnic background is, but I'm just going to pretend for a second. He is the epitome of a narrow-minded white guy in America that thinks that, that starts the race in the middle. And I'll give you a good example. The Irish had mobs. That wasn't considered upstanding.
That's the white version of street gangs.
And the Italians had mobs. Breaking the damn
organized crime,
right?
Versus black crime, which is disorganized
crime. Right? They want to give it a different. They want to dress it up. The Bank of America was started with organized crime, specific Italian organized crime money. But okay, they glamorize that in movies. Glamorize it in movies, y'all. And then you've got guys like Whitey Bulger, who headed the largest Irish mob in the country, being relegated to being just a bad guy, distracted old Irish man.
Mm-hmm. And a folk hero.
And a folk hero for a lot of people. Right. Why? Because their place in life required that they fight for some sort of level of decency.
And the end result is, I will not get on the elevator with a white woman.
So
that's where we are. Right, all of that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
all right, man. Let's let
Tommy break some damn windows.
Tommy get it in. Tom, what's up, man?
Well, first of all, let me just say I find it interesting that we waste time with people like Mike. And no matter how many times I've told you that from the hallowed halls of sanity, I'm needed to straighten out things in Nutsville. I want to send a shout out to Brittany, my daughter. I want her to know how much I love her, how much I pray for her. I also want to send a shout out to her mother and thank her for her and my son. I also want to send a shout out to my son-in-law, Anthony Brooks. And you wonder why. Why do I send these shout outs to individuals? I send shout outs to individuals who are moral-minded and human beings who recognize and understand a simple narrative that we all need food, water, a roof over our head, a way to make some money, and an opportunity to advance in this place that we call America and in its motto of in pursuit of the American dream. Now let's just stop for a second, because I won't be long. Until you accept and understand the premise of where Mike was coming from. Because basically, no matter how you cut this thing, when they put their knee on George Floyd's neck, when they have shot Laquan McDonald, when they shot Rekia Boyd, when they hung Sandra Bland, when they did these things so egregiously, and the world began to stir, the world began to, for a moment, pause and say, wow, what's really going on here? And when they did it, we did what we do best. We went and we acted out. That action that we acted out is why you hear people like Mike saying the things that they say. Now, watch this. Irregardless of the fact that a black person already knows how white people feel and what they have done systemically, generation after generation, decade after decade. And now what individuals do not see nothing but a God could infect the entire world with the same cause, the same situation, and the same outcome, life or death, and yet the world will not pause, yet whites will not pause, yet these individuals who are making all this money off the poor backs of all of us will not pause and say, wait a minute, hold on, stop the car, let's pull it over for a second, because if we want to stay where we at, we got to make some changes. And for the record, any white person that ever calls any radio station or come to a microphone and deny the fact that the only thing that black people ever asked for was justice. If you so egregiously could kill and put your knee on the foot and you're supposed to be a servant of the law, then why then are you not prosecuted by but because America sit back and watch an individual go into the White House with clear understanding of illegal activity having taken place is where we find ourselves at now. And so I'm telling you right now, this moment, if you have to beg and plead for an individual to recognize what is the meaning of voting, what does it do for you, what it will not do for you if you do not vote, if you have to stop and recognize and beg and plead for an individual to understand why some people went down and broke some windows out and acted the way that they did, this is the madness that has encapsulated us, and I can tell you that come November, you better hold your breath, because it's already set up with the death of Ginsburg. So I close with this. This ought to be a moment where white people can start to see now that these boundaries and this privilege is closing in on them. This ought to be a moment right now that black people can see that, hey, what you've been knowing and have not tried to turn around and deal with, it's upon you, has been upon you, will be upon you, and it will be until the day you die. Keep listening to the family meeting, because blue pills, drinking, crack, breaking out windows will not change the American dream of how damn dumb can you be. Goodbye.
That's our weekly contribution to your community safety. If we don't let Tommy get it out here,
windows cracking.
Get your window broke, man. Yeah. Promise you that, man. He'll do it. I promise you.
He will.
By the way, I should add this too, by the way.
What's that?
Tommy's a good dude. Mm-hmm. People don't know this. Tommy is a skilled carpenter.
Yeah, you told me that on the side.
You should, hit me up sometime. I'll introduce you to Tommy. And he can build cabinets for you and all manner of things. He's fantastic.
And when a guy is capable of breaking them and rebuilding them,
is it so bad then? Could it be so bad? I'll fix that. My bad.
I broke it. I can fix it.
I'll fix that.
Yeah. All right.
Let me apologize once again for those who hang out with us on YouTube. Usually there's a robust conversation there.
Yeah.
The chat, your boy hit something apparently this week. And the chat got turned off. So
Eric got fat fingers.
So, but the good news is that we have a brand new playlist. So you got to visit our webpage, tfmradioshow.com. Hit that playlist. It's new and improved, and it's using YouTube Music now. It used to be on just straight up YouTube. Now it's YouTube Music, which is a different platform. And it is filled with not only songs that you hear us play here, it's also filled with mixes by our man Raphael.
Yep.
And Concerto. Yeah. I got a lot of mixes there. Let me tell you something, man. It's a whole week's worth of work listening music. If you're sitting in front of your computer on and off of video conferences all day, put this list on.
It'll get you right.
Man, you ain't going to be able to focus.
Nope.
Promise you.
Nope.
You won't be able to focus.
That damn Eric.
Mm-hmm. So, hit the webpage, tfmradioshow.com. I'll try to share it on social media if I can remember. You want to get that playlist, all right? And you need to hit all your folks. Now, we know Illinois is a little bit different. I mean, one thing I notice in Illinois, especially where I tend to traverse, I don't see any Trump signs. I just don't see them, at least with any regular. I haven't seen any, I should say. I expect I will at some point, but I haven't seen any. And I got friends of mine who live in Ohio and Michigan and places like that where there are more lunatics. And they see them all the time.
Check this.
And they get TV commercials. We don't get those here.
Yeah, see, that's why we were saying a couple of weeks ago about what we don't know here versus some other place.
Right, because he's signed it off Illinois. He's not even trying to get Illinois.
Right, and some other states too that, well, anyhow, not to go down that. Listen, to that point though, so on Friday, Ann's aunt, 90-year-old funeral.
That's your wife.
My wife, Ann. So it was in Orland and some of the southwest suburbs. And we were driving down. We were heading to the cemetery, and we're driving down the street, and came upon this this house in I think it was Alsip, and sure enough, they had a flagpole in the middle of their front yard, Eric, and it had an American flag, and it had a Trump 2020 flag.
Okay.
And I just laughed because I thought,
Not
okay,
far from me. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
They're far and few between.
They're far and
So
few between is Eric's
my point
points.
is that you need to reach out to your folks in the surrounding states and other states, especially the ones in the South.
Yeah.
And you need to have them hit the webpage, reregistertovote.com, especially in Georgia, where they're adept at purging voter rolls.
Yeah, North Carolina as well.
Oh, North Carolina too, but
Georgia's at the top of the list.
Right. Ohio, they're doing some of it there as well. I'd imagine in Michigan it's the same thing. They're purging. Oh, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, to the people to the north, yeah, hey there. Those people up there, tell your boys and your girls, re-register to vote. Here's the other thing.
And
if you
get
got kids
damn-
away at college, make sure they've made arrangements to vote.
Yeah. And get that, and in Wisconsin, y'all got to vote because you got to get that doggone legislature changed. I mean, this is where we are right now, Eric, is because of people not voting in their local and state elections. Because it's only run itself up the flag.
You got to hope so. The site is reregistertovote.com. That's reregistertovote.com. It'll take you there. It'll give you a list of all 50 states. I think I forgot to include the territories. I can figure that out.
Yeah, you can knock that out. But
they can't vote for president, I don't think. Some of them can't vote
some
for
of them
president.
Can't. I don't know if Guam. Yeah, they can because they had. Yes, they can.
Okay,
Puerto
we'll
Rico
figure
and
that out,
Guam
too.
can because they had their when they.
I don't think anybody from Guam is listening right now.
Well, hey,
if you're a Guamite, is that what they call them?
I
Guamites?
don't know. I call them Americans.
You Guamical?
Guamical? Yeah. So make sure you're passing this information on. Is what Eric's trying to say.
Yeah.
To people all over the country, people family, friends, business associates.
Get them to register. It doesn't matter if they answer you and say, "Well, I'm already registered." Tell them to register
Do it
again.
That's like I took a bath already. We'll take another one.
Right. Wash your ass again. It's
One
dirty.
One more time.
Right.
As Miles
Get
Davis
the
would
cracks.
say.
Get the cracks.
One more time.
That's right. So that's our little editorial for the day. And we apologize again for the chat. And check out the new playlist. Hit us on social media. We need to talk this up, y'all. I promise you.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have. I want to thank you for yours, for the Black Asian dude.
Always, brother.
My man, Devin. My favorite white slave. Tune into the family meeting every Sunday at 4. I'm your host, Eric Grant. Peace.
Mac game similar next to Goldie Flex. You might feel, man. Creeping through your room late at night. It's hell or water best net. So get it right. You be like, damn, it's that big man. We all love to like. Stay airtight while you caught up in the hype. That's right. Pep Jiggy, Niggy be jiggy. Baby, you ready for Big Daddy?
I want your body.